Hi friends, welcome to my art studio. I'm so happy you could join me today. Maybe you noticed the beautiful flower behind me. It's called an amaryllis, and it just bloomed yesterday, so I brought it into the art room so that I could admire it while I make videos for you. Today we're going to continue our work with the art of Faith Ringgold. You'll be making a drawing that tells a story about what you've done over the last week. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Our project today is based on the art of Faith Ringgold. Faith Ringgold was born in 1930 in the Harlem neighborhood in New York City. She was the youngest of 3 children. When she was young, her asthma made it hard for her to breathe, so some days she couldn't go to school. Faith Ringgold's mom was a fashion designer. On the days when her daughter was stuck at home, she taught young Faith how to sew. When Faith grew up, she went to college to study art. She became an art teacher in New York City. In the first 30 years of Faith's life, segregation and discrimination were common. There were laws in some parts of the United States that prevented Black people from using the same restrooms, drinking fountains, bus seats, and so on as white people. This culture of discrimination meant that when Faith was a young artist, Black artists had a hard time getting their work accepted into art galleries. Women also had difficulty gaining recognition for their art. The galleries were filled with art by men, eventually even Black men, but very few works of art by women artists. Faith couldn't stand the inequality. She got involved in both the civil rights movement and the fight for equal rights for women. Despite the challenges she faced, she continued to teach and paint. Faith experimented with different ways of making art. Inspired by Tibetan dangas, paintings on cloth, she had the idea to make her art as a quilt. Her mom helped her make her first one. It is called Echoes of Harlem. Faith made a lot of quilts to show people about her life growing up in Harlem. She also wrote books, but she couldn't find anyone to publish them. So Faith decided to combine her art and her writing. Then people could read her story in the art gallery. She called her new art style a story quilt. Thanks to Faith Ringgold and other brave people like her, there are more opportunities for women artists and artists of color to show their work. We're going to begin a drawing that tells a story of something we've done during the last week. This week I planted some seeds. They're already starting to sprout. Before we begin, you'll want to make sure that you have all the supplies you'll need for this project. For our art making today, you will need a couple pieces of white paper. It can be construction paper or just plain copy paper. Whatever you have is fine. A pencil sharpener, and an eraser. You'll also need something to color with. I'm using colored pencils, but you can use crayons or markers, even paint, whatever you have in the house. Think of something you've done in the last week. Maybe you went for a walk. Maybe you played a game with your family. Maybe you did some drawing. Whatever it is, it might be helpful to get a family member to take a picture of you doing that thing. That way, you'll have a picture to look at when you draw. We've been using little cardboard dolls to help us envision the human body and how it looks when it's posed in different ways. I know that you don't have these little cardboard dolls at home. If drawing from a photo is too tricky, that's okay. Think of an activity that you did while you were sitting and draw along with me. Instead of drawing my watering can and soil and seeds, you'll draw the things that were around you when you were doing that activity. If you're drawing along with me, feel free to pause the video whenever you need to catch up. If you need to rewind it and watch something again, that's okay too. And if you make a mistake, you can always erase it. Would you believe that I drew this 3 times before I recorded this video? It's okay if you don't get something right the first time. If you're planning to draw along with me, just keep watching. If you don't want to draw along with me and you're going to draw on your own, that's fine too. You can forward the video to about 11 minutes. That's where I give the last set of instructions. We're going to begin by drawing the head. In the photo, I'm over on the right side, so I'm going to start with my head over on the right side too. I'm drawing a simple oval. In the photo, my head is tilted a little bit, so I'll make my oval a little bit tilted too. I add 2 lines for the neck, and now I'm going to make a rectangular shape for my torso. I'm trying to draw light so that I can erase my lines when I'm done. I'll draw another rectangle for the hips. Now I'm drawing the upper arm as a long skinny rectangle and the lower arm as another skinny rectangle. The 2 overlap at my elbow. For the hand, I'm just drawing an oval. Now with my second arm, the upper arm is coming out of my body a little bit and my lower arm angles up. And I'm going to do a half oval for the hand. On to the legs. This first leg is pretty easy. A rectangle for my thigh and a second rectangle for my calf, my lower leg. Where they overlap, that's my knee. I'm going to do kind of a half oval for my foot. For my second leg, I'm going to draw, you guessed it, another rectangle. You'll notice I can't really see the bottom of my leg. So I'm only going to draw the part that I can see, which is a tiny little itty bitty rectangle and then a little bit of my heel. Now I'm going to add my hair. If you're copying this drawing and you're going to use it for yourself, you should make your hair look like it does in real life. If you don't have long black hair with a blue streak, don't draw long black hair with a blue streak on your character. You're trying to draw yourself, not me. Now I'm going to put some clothes on my character. I'm going to start with a curved line for the neckline. And now I'm going to add some sleeves. Bottom of my shirt. Looking good so far. My other sleeve. And I'm going to start erasing some of those lines that I don't want anymore. Remember how I told you to draw light at the beginning? This is when it comes in handy. Light lines are super easy to erase. And now I'm going to outline my pants. You'll notice my lines are not very detailed. I'm trying to keep it simple. And my little bare foot. I can't see much of this leg, so I'm only going to draw what I can see in my picture. Hands are pretty intimidating. I like to think of each finger as a little rectangle or a little French fry so that there's less pressure when I'm drawing. I'm going to make a couple adjustments to my hair and erase the lines I don't want to use anymore. And now I'm ready for my eyes. Each eye is going to be a leaf shape, a curved line on the top and a curved line on the bottom. We'll draw the iris as a circle in the middle of that leaf shape and the pupil as a circle in the middle of the iris. Now people have different ways that they like to draw noses. For right now, I'm just drawing a curved line. For my mouth, I'm going to make it an open smile, just like my photo. So I draw a line straight across and then put a curved line underneath. Now we're going to add some eyebrows. I'm going to add a line for the side of my nose. And I'll outline my face so that it's a little darker and easier to see. Don't forget that ear. And my other eyebrow. I'm going to do my other hand. I can really only see my thumb and a finger, so that's all I'm going to draw. Now I'm going to draw all those wonderful details that help tell my story. If you copied my drawing, that's totally fine, but you shouldn't draw my watering can and seeds unless you actually planted some seeds. Think about that activity that you picked at the beginning of this lesson and all of the different objects that were around you or that you touched or moved during that activity. Maybe you were playing with a ball. Maybe you were reading a book. If you're playing with a ball, then you draw a ball. If you're reading a book, then maybe there's a book in your hand. You get the idea? Now draw all of those juicy background details, the ones that help us understand where you were when you were doing this activity. In my drawing, you can see my dresser behind me, my plant shelves, and just a little corner of my window. Where do you think I was when I planted my seeds? When you're done drawing, you can color in some or all of your picture. I chose only to color myself and the things that were just right around me, and I left the stuff in the background as just outlines. Whatever you choose to do, that's okay. I hope you had a great time art making with me today, friends. When you're all the way done with your art, take a video of yourself with your artwork telling me all about that activity. I look forward to hearing from you. Until next week.